Hello and welcome to another coaching video, and in this one we have an Emerald Wukong versus an Emerald Evelynn, and we're going to have first blood here, which is, we don't normally look at the first few seconds of the game because we just start with the first clears. However, a Braum is going to want to invade, and so the whole blue team is ready to go. We have a Flash Charm, and we get the first blood on the Monkey, who has just been buffed but is still not very good. So I don't really recommend you play him, but I know there's a lot of happy Wukong mains to at least get some sort of love after the pro play nerfs. Now, this game, largely I cover, your more medium-sized, long-sized games on this channel. We want to have a quicker game here because I want to show you how this first blood kill should mean something, but why it just ends up not meaning anything in the context of, this MMR as you're trying to get to Diamond. So, first and foremost, he goes back to base to get a longsword, which should really amp up, one, his clear speed, every auto attack, every spell, as well as his trading ability when he wants to go fighting over scuttles and such things. So the Monkey starts down here. Evelynn is starting here with a Braum leash, which, can you blame her? We have a ward over here for protection as well, just in case of some Wukong cheesery, but the champion still struggles to clear with any sort of regular power. In fact, we can watch this. He has decided now to go for a level 2 onto the bottom lane to use the fact that the Braum uses Flash. The thing is, it is a Braum, and that, of course, is a Taric, so maybe we can scan and get in here. Let's go. All right. Taric stun does hit. We're going to dash in, get the bonk. You know what? The aggression, I didn't expect it. And as always, please consider having a look at my jungle courses on my website, as well as joining us in the private jungle Discord to have access not only to the free jungle improvement PDF, but also weekly coaching classes, lectures, Q&As, and so much more, in addition to all of the jungle video courses included with it. The absolute jungle paradise for all junglers is Virkayu.gg. I didn't expect it at all, but we take those. However, from the Evelynn's perspective, you see this, don't let it compromise you too much, yeah? Just do your game plan. Fiddlesticks, Karthuses, anything that full clears, Heckrums, don't react to this unless it's a guaranteed event, right? Keep your risk minimal, keep your jungling intelligent, and just go on for your full clear here, because if the Wukong decides to go topside now, and the Darius has prio, and the Ahri has prio, you're just gonna die. So while he's getting kills on the bottom side, which is great, and most likely he's going to do the red side quadrant, you can get a huge level 4 advantage over him and a second rotation advantage over him. You can reset and go straight gank bottom lane to fix it, correct it, take this. There's a lot of cool stuff that we can do. So let's see what the Evelynn chooses to do. The Wukong goes from Krugs into the Raptors, of course. Most likely will look to go and, flirt with mid lane to see if it is a gank. If he sees no, it isn't, he'll just carry on clearing. But the Evelynn will be significantly further ahead on the top side of the map. And this is where the benefit comes in. Darius is pushing, Jax is pushed in, and now the Wukong is absolutely nowhere to be found in terms of actually being able to counter gank this. And nice flash, full charm. Darius doesn't even get a chance to flash. He should have probably flashed that. Wukong sees this and basically says, look, I chose to snowball bottom lane. I hope that they can do something with it. Taliyah starts to move using her body, and what should the Wukong do here? What should you do if you're the Wukong in this situation? Do you stay for this little bit of a coin flip scenario, or do you give it up? In another universe, you have died. And now Ahri is going to die. Now, Evelynn gets a bottom scuttle. Now, what we probably should be doing here with this big old fat wave when she has TP is you can think about shoving it in just so that Taliyah gets a bit of a recall, to help her out, but obviously if you get pinged off, play the man if you want. Bottom lane does have prio here. Oh, she actually decides to leave it. Surprise, surprise. So, Ahri will TP in here. Taliyah won't, we'll go back to base. We have to give up the Scuttlecraft for now because our Braum is in base. So now we witness this, we pay attention to this, and we see, okay, look, bottom lane goes back. Wukong was chunked, he has to go back to base. But the Wukong also, because his Krugs were delayed now, his Raptors were delayed, he hasn't taken his Grump, he hasn't taken his Blue, it wasn't worth his loss of Econ. The guy's going to lose a lot of tempo here to the Evelynn. Ahri's going to come back in here, pushes right back in. So Evelynn gets to take this bottom scuttle, all right? Watch this, be patient with it. We know that they're most likely a vision up, so don't waste too much time. What she's doing is effectively just saying, hey, is there any way in or not? If there isn't, go to the Grump. I would say she should have gone to the Grump a little bit sooner, rather than really waiting to do something on the bottom side here, but, it is how it is sometimes. And we can float up for this, we can start and do a full second rotation. We don't have to reset here, right? We can do a full second rotation, try and get that early 6. Wukong has to go topside now, so we know exactly where he's going to be. Talia just comes out of base using that advantage and says, look, let me hit that WE combo. That's a dead Ahri. Boom. And that's why that, you know, I was worried she's going to keep trying to push it, then slow push it into the Ahri, and Ahri TBs in and freeze. You know, what things you expect from Emerald, but well played by the Talia. You don't always get those laners, but when you do, it's nice. So Darius is going to go in on the Jax here. Wukong's going to show up and try and gank it, pushing wave as well. So, like, he's put himself in this box entirely. I liked the red level 2 gank. Like, that's a fun, aggressive play to snowball his bot lane. Get prio, nice. Right? Do this. Probably should look to do something about this so he can cut off this, but decides to go here. Just give up the scuttle. Honestly. You are basically trading potentially both scuttles for that bottom lane gank. Just make sure you can snowball it, because now the guy's in no man's land. He died almost, went back to base, went blue grump, hovers, waffles, and waits for the wolf camp. The inefficiency of pathing compromises his entire game plan. So when you go for those kinds of plays, that's great, but understand what you're going to have to give up at some point. And ideally, in his case, you're basically just full clearing up, giving up that scuttle, going back to base, matching bottom lane if Evelynn decides to gank, and then kind of looking to use that pride to get in her face a bit. But he didn't do that at all. He chose to go for scuttle. Evelynn does full clear a second time. Darius is winning. If we were 6, if we had a full itemization, we could go for this again, but remember, he has flash now. Wukong is forced to stay out. Okay, path downward. And we wouldn't know this. Like, we saw him top lane, we saw what he bought, we know he has to go to the bottom side somehow. Evelynn has no camps available, she really is close to 6. So here you kind of want to shadow a lane a little bit. Like, you could sit here and soak some experience. Also, you could sit here, mid lane, and just soak some experience if it's pushed in. So try and make sure you're getting maximal experience when you're in Evelynn and things like that. It's kind of useful. Ahri out of position here. She's deciding whether or not she should ult. Evelynn's getting 6 first. I think that's the right play. Tarek once more uses the shove here. We know Wukong should be on the bottom side. We see this all out 2v2. We're level 6. Can we go in here? Can we do something from this? Ashe has her spells up, so we're going to have to play that appropriately. Get the stun from the Braum passive. Kill the Tarek. Gems are not outrageous, my friend. They're just expensive. And now Wukong does show up. They overcommit as always. Evelynn goes back into passive, regenerates just a little bit, is seen. We'll hit our Q to get max damage. Oh, that's a free kill. Nice ISO Q there from the Kai'Sa. No flash now on the Ashe, so we'll get that charm off. Did we need to do that? Did we need to ult there? Thematically? Yeah. Egotistically? Yeah. For fun? Yeah. Mathematically, if I could save it, I would, but again, don't hold it and lose it, so make sure you're getting it. Now, she started up the Scuttle Crab. We know that the red is available because the guy died without it, so we're a little late flexing into it, and I'm talking about when to use ultimate, so, you know, I'm not paying attention either, but as you can see, if she had made that recognition first and gone straight forward, she gets this, smites this, gets out, denies him. The guy's in the bottom side with nothing available. And even then, if I'm the Wukong, why am I even going for this? I would expect the Evelynn to take this, right? You expect her to take this, but you got nothing else on the map, and the bottom lane's going to come back juiced. So as the Wukong here say, stop, Achtung, no, I'm going top side here. I'm going to try and maybe gank the Jaxi for my Darius, who is doing a pretty good job. Maybe I just go straight up and take her whole red side, and then gank the Jax as well. Maybe I just go straight Herald, fall back to my blue side. Like, he's got choices. 3 different, very good choices that he can kind of flex based upon what the Evelynn's doing. But the Evelynn doesn't get away with it because she spends time on the Scuttle Crab. Now we watch this, and we do see the Ahri in a bit of a precarious situation. Oh, that was a nice jump. See, now if we had our ult, and we didn't need to use it on the bottom lane, we would get that kill. But we should be able to get it with, whoa, if we hit the Q. Unlucky. So unlucky, so close. And the Wukong now shows up here. And we're getting a little bit of this Emerald gaming going on. Alright, this is full-on Emerald gaming. I just had a live Emerald coaching as well with a guy who's stuck in Emerald at the moment with Udyr. And we just made him go 5 levels ahead of his enemy jungler. So when it comes to actually dealing with this MMR range, it's a lot about snappy decisions. It's a lot about paying attention to enemy junglers. And obviously, these kinds of mechanical outplays are necessary. You're going to have to be able to make these turns. Because your decision making isn't the best, because the enemy jungler does random things, you're not always going to be in the best spot. So mechanically, you've got to outplay the situation, and she has done. But the Wukong, again, is doing very platinum, gold, silver level tendencies. He's not playing like an emerald should. You know, give up stuff. Like, there's nothing else here but a red buff. If she takes it, cool. I'll get her whole red side and dive this Jax and snowball my Darius. I'll get this Herald. Hey, surprise, surprise. Guess what we live coached with the Udyr? The same thing. Zach, kill bot lane, take dragon. Don't care. I honestly don't care. I'll take your whole red side. I'll take the Herald. I'll snowball and dive top lane. I'll activate that sucker, give us full plates. Fall back to my blue side, go back to base or stay out, match and pick. Like, this is the kind of stuff you got to think about, and think like. You got to be snappy. You got to be quick. You got to be fast. And when you are, and you do that in Emerald, you have such a big advantage over everybody else. So, basically, despite the fact that they get the first blood kill on the prom, despite the fact that the level 2 gank cheese from the Wukong is successful, his bot lane's losing. Kai'Sa's winning the bottom lane battle because the Evelynn actually showed up when it mattered. And because the Wukong's subsequent pathing was suboptimal, he lost all advantage he had. And now basically she's saying, well, let me just go and take his blue side because for some reason, like, he's coin flipping bottom lane. And that's the problem with Wukong. Despite the fact that you can kind of fix him up a little bit with these buffs, he's still useless and he still doesn't farm very quickly. So when you put someone who doesn't have good pathing, who has unimaginative pathing, who maybe isn't the best player in the game, on a champion that can't keep up farm-wise, they just make these terrible ganking decisions all the time, when it's quite a simple fix. I cannot contest the Evelynn, I'm losing my red, she's probably going to take the dragon. Can I get the Herald and her red side in snowball top lane? Yes, cool, let's do it. That's it. That's all we really have to think about, right? Offset as much as you can, rather than trying to match and beat the whole time. Because it's all very well saying, hey, you know, let's punch each other in the face 1,000 times, but if one guy has a skull made of adamantium, you're not going to win that game. So punch him somewhere else. Don't keep punching him in the skull where he's made of adamantium. And yes, I understand that Wolverine has that everywhere, but everywhere, you know? Hopefully that makes sense, a weird little metaphor, but yeah. Hello Wukong, hello Darius. Now we're in a bit of a precarious situation, just kidding, we can kill everybody. We do have ult available, so I don't know why the Evelynn was that afraid of the Darius. I feel like we should have gone a bit more ham here. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Be confident in your lead, be confident in your abilities to execute these people. Big thing in Emerald as well. Now we do have Herald here, we've got, you know, a few plates there we could use it on. I don't like busting mid too early, actually. I much prefer this because if you bust mid early, then you've got this like outer tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 1, and it creates this vortex of like shadow and darkness and Mordor. Whereas if you take one of these, it creates an inverted triangle there where you actually have access to all of these zones, and you can always collapse and flank here and push this down afterwards. Prefer sideline heralds. Now, in the meantime, we obviously have 3 people on the bottom side ganking that lane, so the Evelynn says the classical thing, hey, no, that's my bottom lane, let me shadow down. Lane gank, oh, we like it a lot. Bait him in, hit it, kill it. And now a big cannon wave, so we'll just hold, that's fine, save the turret. Taliyah gets to push this in the meantime. Wukong, I don't know what I'm watching, honestly. It's really bad jungling, and now we're also going to be giving up this dragon effectively. So when you lose a quick 20-22 minute game in Emerald, and it feels like laner gaps, laners are inting, I can't do anything, go watch your replay here and see what you're giving up. You're giving up a lot of control for no reason, and the Evelynn didn't make every perfect decision, yet we played into her hands. It's a big problem. And now I had someone telling me that Evelynn can't do objectives, like what game are you playing? Yes, you can't split push. Yes, she's not going to go and solo a level 5 dragon like a Mundo is going to. But, you know, once you're fed, what's wrong with this dragon? This was the first dragon. What was wrong with doing the Herald? You can still hit turrets, you know? Like, it's not like it's useless. You don't really want to do that, but objectives and counter jungling, you got that. Turrets come afterwards for you. Ooh, that's ugly. Ugh. Oh, that's a heinous, hideous, terrible Herald. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was... What a waste. Give it to your Kai'Sa, man. Your Taliyah is juiced and fed. Ahri is nothing. Go bottom lane. Use it on the Kai'Sa ISO. Shove this one down. This is gonna die. Give it to your Kai'Sa. Give it to yourself. Look at all the plates we could be getting. What a waste of a Herald. Now we're punching a tier 2 here. One charge. They're gonna shove to hold it. Not even... Oh, we get one. It doesn't really do anything. You know? Could have even used the top lane. Like, if you wanted to snowball the Jax, you could, but the Jax hasn't showed himself to have such a big lead where yeah, right? I don't trust the Jax in the open field just yet. So I kind of want him to stay top lane. Get that kill. Kai'Sa's still not even on this. Well, she is, but come on, come on, come on. That's why we want to use it there, right? They all shadow this, you punch this, you push in here, they have to go the long way, you take the red, you fall back, you catch mid lane, you shove that in, and now the whole map is open to you, right? Now we're waiting for Kai'Sa to do this, and in a game where there's a Rengar jungle who's capable, or an Evelynn jungle on the enemy team, guess what? That's a dead Kai'Sa. That Kai'Sa be dead. And you cost her. Now this Wukong is not very good, so he's floating and doing whatever he does to scuttle crabs. Evelynn's doing the cheese strategies that we all have come to know and love. Let's see if we can get that W slow. Nope, we're going to go for the Ashe instead. So now obviously our CSPM will go down, but we've got a Mesh Eyes. We're going to activate it here. She should be able to see where the Evelynn is coming from. Taric hits the spell that juices her up, so we know that Taric is there. We'll take this red buff. Wukong should now reset and come bottom side. Look how long this took, you know what I mean? Like, this could have been a Herald play, and this whole time they're farming and resetting and recalling. We're playing pressure. Good old-fashioned pressure. And now your bottom lane's going to shove out here. Hopefully not overcommit, because I could see the Wukong, Ahri, and everyone goon squatting. Kai'Sa's got 1800. She should leave. There's also the punishment for this misplay on the Herald is that we've left the situation to go to blue side, and we're not with our team because there's nothing for us to do on this side over here. Right? We've done our business, so we left. But now they're staying and hovering, and instead of being here killing everybody, we're trusting them not to die. Which, if it works here, great, but if it doesn't, you can lose the game. So, keep those things in mind. Evelynn wants the base for the right amount of itemization, so she's going to stay out a little bit longer. We'd have it if we just killed them. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I planned to actually talk about the Wukong, but in the end it was just so heinous, I couldn't do it. I'm going to have to put both on the thumbnail now. Blue is up again. We're going to take this. Guy's holding the wave. Champion's just useless. When you play badly, it's also useless too, so take that away. My blue is gone. Jax now has this. Shadow in the mid lane. This is good pressure. We have a lot of gold, though. Oh, Flash is burned. Flash Q. There we go. Wukong now shadowing the situation. Going in on the manaless Jax. He has no mana. Telly is going to ult. I'm going to flash onto her for some particular reason. For the double knock-up. Darius going to get the bonks. Kai'Sa's rotating. Yeah. Here comes Evelynn. Watching the Braum on the minimap. Yeah, so, come on, yeah. You can see very clearly how this game fell apart very quickly. And again, you might think, all right, this is laner gap, but it's not. The Jax is 1-3-1. The Kai'Sa lost her Braum early, lost him again level 2. The Wukong was trying to snowball that lane, but he didn't see it through. And mid lane was the cause of mid lane losing was because Wukong wanted to die and flash in and so on for a scuttle. You know, he didn't need to do that. He could have just given it up and shadowed the gank mid lane, but he didn't. So your decisions reverberate into your lanes. And when the enemy jungler is just existing and making all the right moves and you're not punishing them, this is what we get. This is what we get. So Taric and Ashe will now shove the mid lane. Talia and everybody will collapse in the bottom lane. Track the flashes, obviously we do get stunned. That's where a nice little Banshee's rush is useful in a closer game, but here obviously we don't need it because we're that juiced. Dragon is spawning, this is up as well. Bombing it away. Now what do you do, Virkayu, if you are the Wukong in this case? Firstly, don't be in this case in the first place. Secondly, if you do find yourself in this case, pressure. Now, this Udyr coaching session I just had, and again that goes up on the VOD libraries, and we have weekly coaching like this all in the as part of the membership, right? You get all the Discord, you get all the courses, you also get these weekly coaching classes. It's all like encompassing. We talk a lot about this because people always say, well, you know, I have 2 losing lanes, what can I do? Exactly what we just did in this coaching before I recorded this. We just had so much pressure in other lanes and so much farm that there was nothing they could do about it. We just had so much control over our own econ. We ended up 5 levels ahead of the enemy jungler. So if you're the Wukong here in this particular situation, you're playing towards the Evelynn instead of playing away from the Evelynn and denying her everything while she sits in mid lane and does nothing, while she sits bot lane and gets nothing, while she uses the Herald incorrectly. You know, while she gets the dragon, we should be getting the Herald by forcing this earlier, right? Give her the red, give her that, take this in the meantime, take this. You saw those plays as a possibility. Snowball the Darius up here into this tier 2, right? Take this away. The Evelynn becomes starved a little bit, so she doesn't do as much damage. You become strong, level 12, level 13, level 14. And that's when you avoid these situations. It's not a case of what do I do at 17, it's what do you do at 12 to 17 that allows this to not occur. And he just didn't, right? He just focused on his own camps, Didn't think about pressure release. And even then, like, the Darius is fed, we're fed. We have a Braum, we have an Ashe who's decently juiced as well. Talia's top side, no TP, so we have numbers advantage here. We can probably get a Dragon. So you can imagine if the Wukong had applied this reverse pressure at any stage, they'd have a lot to play for still. So if you find yourself in these games, don't blame lanes. Blame yourself. Look at where you could have gone somewhere else instead of matching. And that's the biggest thing when you lose games like this. You lose games like this is because you don't counter. You match. Oh, that was a bit of a wolfed ult, wasn't it? Talia shoves this in. We got this turret. Like, he doesn't know what to do now because he hasn't laid the foundation. So as long as you have that foundation, you should be good in terms of, like, getting your own econ. As soon as your own econ is starved, then it's a doomed game, it's a doomed game. But Darius was fed, we could have played around it. Bot lane, we got fed, we could have played around it. You should have had 2 winning lanes at worst. And mid lane should have been neutral as well at the worst possible moment in the game. They're neutral. But because we die and fight for the Scuttle Crab, Sessa, we give the Ari free the Talia free stuff, and she's not able to do anything with it. Now, like, we see the Evelynn, but we can't do anything. And we're not doing anything. So I think the biggest lesson here is don't stagnate, don't stand still, keep moving. Even in winning games, even in losing games. Here we go. Kai'Sa's not fed again, Charm does hit, Taric ult goes through. Jax tries to go in. Here it's a straight up 3v3. We've got a 1v1 mid lane, we've got a 1v1 top lane. We'll watch them in order. They're going to try and... They're over-chasing the Kai'Sa here to kill, which of course is great, but at the same time you die for it because you got to hit the thing in front of you first and foremost. And we're going to keep trying to kill the Jax now, who's going to keep bonking. Another stun by the Taric. Ari's going to try and hit the reverse Q. It doesn't hit here. Now the Evelynn's rotating. And even though Ari's going to get these things, she's going to die first. Hit the thing in front of you. That was decent, right? 1v1 and a 1v1. And again, if you are the kind of jungler that doesn't really want to go ahead and do these fights down here, and you can actually go ahead and do the Baron, They send 3 bot. Do this. Not Talia Evelynn, but, you know, regular jungler with a Tryndamere or Sion or something, you can most likely do it. So, we'll fall back here. Again, the Evelynn, like, she's had a good game, but, you know, there's a lack of that continuous pressure that we like to see. Wukong's just so far behind, man. That's a free Baron. Good rotation, though. No reason to base. We got Death Cap. We got Magi. We got Sorks. We got Rocket Belt. We're going to keep getting strong. No reason to overcommit. Yeah. So I just wanted a quick game to show that because I just had this nice coaching session where the Udyr was able to counterplay it, and this Wukong did none of those things, you can see what happens with the carry jungler. But again, you look at it from the Evelynn's perspective, she made some good moves, but did she deserve all of the good stuff she got the whole game? Probably not, right? Probably not. And that's where we stand, basically. So, yeah, now you've got the Baron. Kai'Sa will pick up that red buff. Now we can just shadow and shove in. No reason to draw at this game. So also, from a closing perspective, if you're Emerald, from a closing perspective, don't go Wolves, don't go Grump. Watch this. If you're a split pusher, do the split pushing, but obviously we have Talia for that and Jax for that. So we should shadow the fight. There we go. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant at all. And against Darius, you kind of want to let that W fully charge for the mega shred and burst damage plus good fear, so you can actually get out. Because if you don't, he's just going to hook you. But everyone collapses using the split push nicely. Braum throws his ult out. Wukong goes in. W from Talia was really beautiful. The Wukong is dead on the backside here as well. Oh, nice counter-strike. I mean, whether or not he lives, it's a nice counter-strike. Kai'Sa goes in with the ult. Chase down kill. Yeah. Pretty standard win for our red team at that particular stage. So, just a quick one today. Tomorrow we'll have a more complicated Diamond 1 and obviously the classical Silver 1 to follow. Thank you very much for watching these. Obviously, I like to keep them as in-depth and as, you know, long as possible to give as much information, but sometimes it's good to have a quick game with a few little things we can work on. And, yeah. Like, share, and comment, subscribe if you enjoyed and learned something. Virkayu.gg for your membership to get your Discord access plus access to the courses, as well as weekly coaching classes. And as always, I will see you all in the next one.